At 11:23 a.m. Eastern Time today, the Royal Canadian Mint effectively defaulted on the retail market. If you went to their website this morning to buy a silver maple leaf, the page was there, the photo was there, the specs were there. But the Add to Cart button? Gone. Not out of stock, not back-ordered, deleted from the code, like the option to buy physical silver never existed. This happened exactly 48 hours after the United States Mint suspended all silver sales. Let me be very clear. When one sovereign mint suspends sales, you can call it a glitch. When two sovereign mints, representing the two largest economies in North America, suspend sales within 48 hours of each other. That is not a glitch. That is a contagion event. I'm a private commodities analyst. I've been stacking for 12 years. I built this channel, Veiled Wealth, because I was tired of waiting for Bloomberg and CNBC to report what I was already seeing in the vault data 12 hours earlier. You are watching the beginning of a coordinated sovereign supply failure. And if you're holding paper silver, you are in the blast radius. Here is the intel the mainstream media doesn't have yet. At 1:47 p.m. Eastern today, an internal email was sent to the Royal Canadian Mint's authorized dealers. The subject line, temporary suspension of silver bullion sales. The body was 3 sentences long. Due to unprecedented demand and global supply constraints, we are temporarily suspending all silver bullion product sales effective immediately. We anticipate resuming normal operations as supply conditions stabilize. That's it. That is all the transparency you get. Bloomberg is calling this a precautionary measure. Veiled Wealth is calling it what it is. The metal is gone. They cannot source replacement planchets at a price that makes economic sense. Now, I want to take you behind the curtain. You need to understand the panic happening right now at the headquarters of major dealers like APMEX, JM Bullion, and SD Bullion. Normally, when you buy a coin from a dealer, they immediately hedge that sale. They sell a future or place a restock order with the mint to lock in their margin. It's a risk-free business model. But today, that model broke. Imagine you are a dealer. Yesterday, you sold 50,000 silver maple leafs to retail buyers at $95. You took the cash, you promised delivery, and you plan to restock those coins from the Royal Canadian Mint today. But at 11:23 a.m., the Mint told you, no. So now you are sitting on 50,000 orders you cannot fill. You are effectively naked short physical silver in a market that is exploding higher. You have 2 choices. 1, cancel the customer orders, which destroys your reputation. 2, go into the open market and pay whatever it takes to find 50,000 ounces. This is why premiums are exploding. It's not just retail demand. It is dealers desperately bidding against each other to cover their naked short positions before they go insolvent. This is a dealer squeeze. And it is the most violent kind of price action you will ever see. Let's look at the numbers because the math proves this isn't just panic buying. It's a mathematical impossibility. I've been digging into the RCM's production data. In 2025, they averaged about 2.5 million coins per month. In the first 16 days of January 2026, they received orders for 8.2 million coins. Project that out, and January demand is on track for 15.8 million coins. But here's the kill shot. My sources in the supply chain indicate the Mint only had 2.7 million planchets in inventory as of yesterday. The ratio is 5.9 to 1. Demand is 6 times higher than supply, and they can't just order more. Why? Because of what happened on January 1st. The skeptics will tell you this is just temporary retail panic. They are wrong. They are ignoring the elephant in the room, China. China controls roughly 40% of global silver refining capacity. On January 1st, 2026, Beijing implemented new export licensing requirements for refined silver. This chokes off the flow of refined silver to the West. The Royal Canadian Mint relies on third-party refiners. Many of those refiners rely on Chinese feedstock or capacity. When China turns off the tap, the bathtub drains. This is a geopolitical realignment disguised as a supply chain hiccup. China is securing strategic reserves for their solar industry, and they are perfectly happy to let the Western mints starve. Now, connect the dots. If the Royal Canadian Mint, a sovereign entity with billions in backing, cannot source silver, do you think Apple can? Do you think Tesla can? The Mint buys from the same refiners that supply the industrial giants. If there are no planchets for maple leafs, there are no silver paste inputs for solar panels. This retail shortage is the canary in the coal mine for an industrial supply shock. When Tesla realizes they can't get the silver for their EVs, they won't buy a few coins. They will buy entire mines. They will buy futures contracts and stand for delivery. We haven't even seen the industrial panic yet. When that hits, $91 silver will look like a typo. It will look like a gift. So what happens next? We watch the contagion spread. We have lost the US Mint. We have lost the Canadian Mint. The next domino is the Perth Mint in Australia. If the Perth Mint suspends sales within the next 72 hours, we have a 3-mint failure. At that point, the panic moves from North America to the global stage. Here is my personal battle plan. This is what I am doing with my capital. Scenario A. Perth Mint goes dark. If Perth fails, I'm moving 20% of my liquid net worth into physical silver immediately. I don't care about the premium. I'm buying whatever is available, likely 100 OZIT bars or generic rounds. I'm also buying CLJ, junior miners, aggressively, because if physical is unobtainable, the miners become the only proxy left. Scenario B. Premiums hit $50 over spot. If generic rounds hit $50 over spot, I stop buying physical. The spread is too wide. In this scenario, I rotate entirely into mining stocks. If physical is $140 but miners are priced for $90 silver, the arbitrage trade is to buy the equity. Before I go, I put together a framework to help you spot these signals yourself. It's called the Silver Insider Toolkit. It explains the structural warning signs like COMEX inventory shifts and futures curve backwardation that predicted this event weeks ago. It's linked in the description. It's for those who want to be analysts, not just spectators. Here's the bottom line. The sovereign mint system is collapsing. Yesterday it was the US. Today it is Canada. Tomorrow it could be Australia. The metal is gone. The add to cart button isn't coming back anytime soon at these prices. Don't wait for CNBC to run a special. By then the premiums will be higher than the spot price. This is veiled wealth. Watch the Perth Mint. Watch the premiums. Position yourself now or explain to your future self why you didn't. I'll see you in the next update. Stay frosty.